East German athletes shattered Olympic records. Government orders fueled a secret doping program. Stasi files tracked every dose. The documents stayed sealed long after reunification. What did the regime hide? The GDR launched its program in the late 1960s. Sports officials selected young athletes for testing. Daily pills became routine. Performance graphs rose sharply. Side effects went unrecorded in official logs. The next file entry is blank. Coaches received direct instructions from Berlin. Refusal meant loss of career and privileges. Athletes were told the substances were vitamins. No independent medical oversight existed. One athlete later described constant monitoring. The report cuts off mid-sentence. Oral turinabol formed the core of the protocol. Thousands of doses were distributed each year. Liver damage appeared early in some cases. Doctors noted symptoms yet continued the regimen. The ministry demanded higher medal counts. The following page remains classified. Female swimmers showed the most dramatic changes. Voices deepened. Bodies altered permanently. Competition results were celebrated as national triumphs. Internal memos questioned long-term consequences. Those memos were never released to the public. The Stasi assigned agents to every major training center. Informants reported any sign of resistance. Doping logs were cross-checked against performance data. Discrepancies triggered investigations. One log lists an athlete who vanished from records entirely. By 1976 the system produced dozens of gold medals. Western observers suspected chemical assistance. The IOC issued no sanctions. East German officials denied every allegation. The denial stood unchallenged for another decade. Parents signed consent forms they could not read. Medical staff remained silent under threat. Some athletes developed cancers in their 20s. Official causes listed other factors. The pattern of early deaths drew no formal inquiry. After 1989 the files surfaced in stages. Researchers counted over 9,000 athletes involved. Convictions followed for a handful of officials. Many documents had already been destroyed. The full list of victims is still incomplete. Stasi archives named the operation State Plan 14.25. A small circle of sports scientists received classified orders in 1974. They created tailored steroid regimens for every discipline. The ministry routed funding through civilian research institutes. Signatures on the earliest memos were deliberately blacked out. Which ministry official first drafted the plan? Doctors embedded in each sports club logged every dose. They forwarded results to a central Berlin laboratory each month. Athletes were told the injections treated vitamin deficiencies. Separate ledgers tracked side effects under false headings. Those ledgers stopped abruptly in 1988. What happened to the final year of entries? The Stasi assigned dedicated officers to each training center. Their task was to intercept foreign journalists and silence rumors. Internal reports warned that Western tests were improving. The officers recommended tighter controls rather than ending the program. One memo from 1985 simply ends mid-sentence. What did the missing half-page contain? University chemists synthesized new compounds never approved for human use. They delivered batches in unmarked vials to team physicians. Paper trails listed only generic chemical codes. After the wall fell, most of those chemists retired quietly. University records from that department remain sealed. Who still protects those names today? A few athletes began asking questions in the mid-1980s. Their inquiries triggered immediate transfers or sudden retirements. Coaches were instructed to report any sign of doubt. The Stasi maintained psychological profiles on every medal contender. Those files list dozens of unexplained transfers. Why were healthy athletes removed without explanation? Border guards searched returning teams for any Western medication. Only state-issued substances were permitted inside the country. Smuggled samples were confiscated and destroyed without testing. One 1987 incident report mentions an unknown pill found in a suitcase. The follow-up investigation page is blank. What substance never reached the laboratory? After unification, prosecutors located only 12 surviving program directors. Most had already shredded personal notebooks. The remaining documents showed annual performance targets signed by the Politburo. No record explained how those targets were first calculated. The original calculation sheets have never appeared. Where did the performance quotas originate? One laboratory technician kept a private notebook of test results. She hid it inside a family Bible for 30 years. The notebook listed exact dosages given to minors. When it surfaced in 2019, several listed athletes were already deceased. The Bible had passed through 3 estates. Who read those pages and chose silence? Western laboratories detected the first East German metabolites in 1976. Officials dismissed the findings as equipment error. Inside the GDR, the detections prompted an immediate switch to new compounds. The change occurred within 6 weeks. No public statement ever acknowledged the detection. How did the program adapt so quickly? Stasi directives ordered the immediate substitution of all traceable compounds. New substances arrived from secret laboratories in under a month. Dosage charts were rewritten by hand. Athletes noticed no change in routine. The previous detection protocols simply vanished from records. Why do the substitution orders carry no signatures? Minors continued to receive the revised regimen. Medical reports listed only routine checkups. Liver damage appeared in internal notes yet never reached competition files. Several swimmers showed abnormal growth within a single season. The final page of each report is absent. What symptoms were removed before archiving? Western analysts published metabolite patterns again in 1978. East German officials responded with total silence. Inside the program, the compounds were altered once more. Trainers received verbal instructions only. No written confirmation exists for the second switch. How were orders transmitted without paper? One coach refused further injections for his squad. He was reassigned within 48 hours. His replacement followed the updated schedule exactly. The original coach later died in an unexplained car accident. Stasi surveillance logs on him end abruptly. Who closed that file? State pharmacies recorded bulk orders of veterinary steroids. The quantities exceeded any legitimate agricultural need. Distribution lists were stamped classified. Athletes received the substances under false labels. The pharmacy ledgers stop in 1982. What happened to the missing volumes? Female athletes developed irreversible voice changes and joint failure. Team doctors attributed symptoms to overtraining. Treatment records were sealed separately from performance files. Several women retired without explanation. Their medical histories remain partially redacted. Which pages were never released? A courier carried samples across the border every quarter. The route changed after each Western detection. Stasi cryptographers encoded the results. The courier's reports contain no names. One envelope was returned unopened in 1984. Who decided the contents were too dangerous? The program expanded to include prepubescent gymnasts. Initial test results were logged under code numbers only. Growth charts show sudden acceleration followed by collapse. Several files end with the note "subject withdrawn." The withdrawal dates coincide with international competitions. What occurred on those exact dates? Internal audits revealed inconsistent blood values across entire teams. Investigators were ordered to destroy the raw data. Only summaries reached Berlin. The summaries contain no anomalies. The raw data has never been recovered. Where did the original measurements disappear? Stasi archives opened in 1990. Orders traced to the Ministry of Sport and the Central Committee. Directives specified exact dosages for each discipline. Names of senior officials appeared on every distribution list. No signature was ever disputed. One minister later claimed the files were incomplete. The remaining pages list only code numbers. Former athletes testified in unified Germany. Many described the same injection schedule from age 12. Medical records matched their accounts. Several coaches received suspended sentences. One chief physician fled before trial. His current whereabouts remain unknown. Court documents list the charges but not the final verdict. Heidi Krieger received the highest doses recorded. She later identified as Andreas and won a European title under that name. The transformation occurred after documented hormone treatment. No follow-up study was ever published. The athlete's personal file ends in 1989. Blood samples taken before the 1988 Seoul Games showed elevated testosterone across the swimming team. The raw values were reclassified as training data. None appeared in the official report sent to the IOC. The original laboratory ledgers have not surfaced since. Post-reunification audits found systematic record destruction at Christchurch Laboratory. Staff were instructed to burn data sheets after each major competition. Only summary tables survived. Those tables list 0 anomalies. The staff who carried out the order were never identified by name. By 2006 German courts had convicted 11 coaches and doctors. Fines totaled less than €200,000. None served more than 18 months. Several recipients of the same program continue to coach in other countries. Their current positions are listed in public directories. Long-term health studies tracked thousands of former East German athletes. Rates of heart disease and cancer appeared significantly higher than population averages. The studies received limited state funding. The final report omitted any direct link to the former doping protocol. International Olympic Committee reviewed 43 East German medal cases. Only 2 were stripped. The remaining files were closed without public hearing. No additional evidence was requested from German archives. The cases remain marked as resolved. The last known master list of administered substances was microfilmed in 1989. That microfilm was logged into the Stasi Central Registry. The registry entry exists. The microfilm reel itself is absent from every inventory. Its location has never been confirmed.